Hey guys, this is Mark.
Hi, this is Michelle.
And this is episode something,
39?
39, you're right, this is the Mark and Michelle show. And we had one of our clients want us to talk about tools to use during detoxing and tools to use when your relationship starts changing because of the detoxing. Now, the reason we say that is even on the GAPS diet, all kinds of emotions came up for me that I didn't know were there. Well, that changed the relationship between us. And because of all those emotions, I had to find tools to work through them, which she already knew about. Some of them she taught me, but there's one viewer. Thanks for joining us.
Can I just say it's so cold outside?
Yes, you can. You've been wanting to say that. You could have interrupted me for that. It is a nice, well, I was going to say
Blustery,
balmy day.
brutal.
For Alaska, this might be balmy, but it is 27 degrees out.
With a wind chill of what?
Yeah,
0?
probably
I don't know.
15 degrees colder than 27. So it's probably like 12 or 10 degrees.
So wearing 2 shirts, 2 pants, a coat, still cold.
Can you get your butt off my thing? You. Anyway, sorry. Cat sat on the pen. But so it's a very cold day out. It's definitely a hot tea day.
Yeah, we should have some hot tea.
We'll have some hot tea later.
Okay.
And now we don't drink caffeine tea
No, it's
anymore.
herbal.
We always drink herbal, but we'll have a whole pot full of. Hey, you mind? Yeah, thank you. And so, but we just wanted to bring that out and tell you that the weather is quite enjoyable here if you're inside. But anyway, but as far as the tools and stuff go, we thought we'd just talk about a few of those. We've talked about them before, but we think it's important to put them all in one Facebook Live so that.
And did you put a note about how CBG has helped us with detox?
No, but we can't. With detox
Wow.
or with the emotions?
Well, it's all the same.
Do both? Yeah. Okay. I'll do that right here.
Because your liver, if you have so much emotion you can't handle, the liver takes it in for you. But once you start detoxing, it comes out again, and you have to deal with it.
Now, for those of you, and now that's what the medical medium says, and I am going to say I agree with that because
me too. because I did definitely have
experience healing our livers by eating no fat or as little fat as possible, and that kind of stuff has brought up emotions that I didn't know were there.
Because he didn't even feel them when they happened to him.
Yeah, exactly. Because being an Aspie, my ability to feel emotions from other people, even my own emotions, was turned down so low I hardly knew they were there. And so, for those of you folks who are on the GAPS diet, this is going to be important about the liver. The liver is the main organ in your body that detoxifies your blood. Now the kidneys filter things out and that type of stuff, but your liver actually detoxifies. And so since that's the case, a lot of us, in fact, I'd say most everyone on the planet has a liver that is backed up with toxins and poisons and other things that are in our environment. Hey, Shirley.
And too much fat.
And too much fat. But the fat is what keeps the liver from detoxifying at the rate it should. Now, at what rate? I just mean speed for those of you folks who need a different translation. Now, that's according to the medical medium. Now, when I was on the GAPS diet, I didn't know any of this stuff about the liver, right? Yeah. So I ate a lot of fat. She was on the GAPS with me. She ate a lot of fat. I ate a lot of fat because that's the GAPS diet. Now, the GAPS worked great for me. It didn't work so well for her, but I think the biggest reason, Shirley says it's only 19 there. You got us beat, I think, Shirley. It may be lower than that here, but only because of the wind chill. But for her, I think the reason the GAPS diet didn't work for her so well is because she already had so many toxins backed up in her liver.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's full of viruses.
That all those years of antibiotics and ibuprofen for the Lyme disease and that kind of stuff. And so now me, I didn't have the same issues. The GAPS diet worked great for me up until could very well, the reason that it stopped working quite so well is because my liver got backed up.
Yeah, too much fat.
And so when we started the medical medium diet a little more than a year ago, back in January of 18, we heard a little bit of this stuff about the liver, and we thought, okay, well, let's see what we can't do about, sorry, it's the cats again. We thought, well, let's see what we can do about healing the livers. Well, on the 28-day cleanse, that first period of the medical medium diet that we did, we must have healed our livers a good bit, but not as much as we thought we did.
Well, it takes years.
Well, it does, but we got a jump start on it. And so for those of you folks on the GAPS diet, the liver information is probably going to be important for you if you're having issues that the GAPS diet doesn't seem to handle. Because that's the reason we moved to the medical medium diet, specifically for her. Well, it was for both of us, but we think because of her liver, the GAPS diet wasn't going to make that any better.
No.
And now I know the GAPS diet detoxifies, but it does not, I'll tell you from my experience, it does not detoxify
heavy metals
as quickly. Well, yeah, it doesn't do heavy metals, and that kind of thing, but it doesn't detoxify at the rate that the medical medium diet does, which is why we talk about the medical medium diet so much. And so I need to give you the backstory on the liver and that kind of stuff, because some of these tools that we're talking, a couple of these tools that we're talking about are specifically to the are part of the medical medium diet. And so it's going to be, you folks on the GAPS diet won't know about this, but you've heard us talk about it before. So we'll start with tools for detox.
Okay.
We'll go through that. The first one is, and this is number one, because we had to find this out the hard way for us.
Yes.
And I think actually it could be that most everybody has to find this out for themselves, but this is very important. Number one, if you're detoxing and you're sick all the time, because of your detoxing, like if you're doing the heavy metal detox smoothie and you're doing the 28-day cleanse and you're just doing the heavy metal detox smoothie every day.
And the celery juice.
And the celery juice every day, the lemon juice and that kind of stuff. You may be detoxing too fast if you're sick all the time. Why? Because we were sick with strep.
For 7 weeks or something.
Yeah, well, you got sick 7 times with strep in the first 5 months. Between January and May. I got sick with it 6 times because we were detoxing so fast. It helped us, but we were sick all the time.
Yes.
And so if you find yourself, and I'll go into the emotional part of this here in a minute, if you find you're physically sick all the time, you're tired all the time, this kind of stuff, it may be because you're detoxing too fast. And since that's the case, slow down. What do I mean by slowing down? Okay, if you're doing the heavy metal detox smoothie every day, if you're doing the celery juice every day, and you're sick just about every day, you're probably detoxing too fast. So drink the heavy metal detox smoothie and the celery juice every other day and see how that works for you. Everybody's different. We're all humans, and we all have a generalized physiology. I mean, in the sense of it all tends to work the same, but we all have different genes and
different viruses and different toxins, and so you can't.
And so you can't say
one size fits all.
It doesn't, because if it did, GAPS diet should have worked for her.
Right.
Right. And so down in front, and so it's important to slow down if you are going too fast.
And this is not in the books. It's not in the medical medium books.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't talk about if you're detox. He doesn't talk about detox really. If you're doing, we just had to figure it out.
Right.
So I was sick so long, I decided to stop everything except eating the fruit until I felt better.
Right. And then the fruit detoxes you anyway.
It does, and I found that out. I was like, whoa, I didn't know food could do this.
Yeah, and well, interestingly enough, didn't know that fruits and veggies did that.
I did not know.
Because apparently meat does not do that. It didn't do it for me.
No.
And so for you folks who are on the GAPS diet, it does detox you some, but I think that's only when you get to the later stages where you're introducing fruits and veggies and this type of stuff. Now, I was on the introductory part, in the introductory phase of the diet. I never even got to stage 1 because I couldn't add the fruits and the veggies and that kind of stuff without old autistic behaviors setting in.
Regressions.
Exactly, which we've talked about in another episode. But so it's important that if you find yourself sick all the time while doing the medical medium, then slow down your detox. Because if you're doing the heavy metal smoothie and the celery juice every day, that's probably too much. Because recently I did the heavy metal detox smoothie just for a couple of days, and I overdid it on some of the chelating agents like cilantro and spirulina and dulse, and that really put me in a horribly anxious state.
It's amazing how potent it is.
It is very potent. And so, oh, sorry, little guy. There you go. And so the first thing to go by, the first tool is slow down. Just cut down on how much you are using the heavy metal detox smoothie and the celery juice. Do it every other day. If that's still too much, do it twice a week.
You can also add things like a little more fat.
Mm-hmm. Or potatoes.
Potatoes are
on the medical
great.
medium diet, potatoes are great. Now, I know on the GAPS it's not. But mainly this is for you folks who are doing the medical medium diet and really feel the need to detox. So first rule, slow down. Second rule, change the amounts in a recipe.
Right.
Okay, this is important. All right. The 2 heavy metal detox smoothie recipes that the medical medium has, one of them is so potent that if you drink it straight for too long of a time, you're going to start detoxing really fast. And so if you find that you're detoxing too fast on something like the celery juice, what you'll do is don't drink the 16 ounces that medical medium asks you to drink. Drink 8 ounces. Or
2.
You could even, as sensitive as she
one
is,
stalk.
yeah, you could just do 1 stock. It would give you like an ounce or 2 of juice. But try that. I mean, seriously, you don't need to hurt yourself trying to figure it out. Cut it in half. And
Cut
if
it
the
in
half
half
is,
in half.
cut the half in half. Because this is all about you and all about you being comfortable. Because as I heard her say, you know what, if I'm going to be sick this whole time, this is not going to make me want to continue. And so that's important. Just cut down the amounts of something you take. You could still do the heavy metal detox smoothie every day if you only had 4 ounces of it. So just take the recipe and cut it down to 1/4 of the amount that he says in the recipe. You can do that. Now, if some of you folks have trouble converting things, you can always get online and Google what is 1/4 of 1 cup. And you could put that in the Google search engine and it would come up. So if you can't figure it out, you can always use Google for that. Now, that's important. Again, the first one is just slow down your detox. The second tool is you can change the recipe amounts. And that will slow down your detox as well. You will
still be healing.
Exactly. You can still detox. You just need to cut it down to something that's manageable for you.
So you can still live your life and go to work.
Mm-hmm. All right. The third tool, what you can do is what Michelle and I did for a while, is cut out all the highly detoxing foods, like the celery juice, like
cilantro.
The cilantro. Because when we first started, I was making a pesto out of cilantro and we were putting it on potatoes.
It's real good.
It's excellent. But that cilantro, and some of you folks on here have done the Andy Cutler chelation method, and cilantro is absolutely banned on the Andy Cutler chelation method. Why? Because it's such a potent chelation agent. Mm-hmm. That's why you don't use it on Andy Cutler. That's fine. But on the medical medium, it's still just as potent. And it's not forbidden. But all you need to do is cut that out if you're detoxing too fast.
Or just 1 leaf.
Or, well,
you're
one
still
leaf.
going to heal.
She's sensitive enough for 1 leaf. Hey, Roxy. And So you can cut out the heavy metal detox smoothie. You can cut out the celery juice, cut out the cilantro, cut out any detoxing sprays you're taking, like we're doing the TRS now. I think it is, or if you're doing clays or anything else, stop those, right? Because you've got to be comfortable because if you're doing too much,
you're doing cat's claw or echinacea,
yeah, any of those,
stop all that.
Just stop all those, because if you're not comfortable, you won't continue.
Well, you might not be able to live your life. So.
Well, that as well. And but that's the third one. Cut out all the highly detoxing foods and just eat the fruit and veggies. Do that. Tool number 4. This was a big tool for us, which we talked about last week. Mm-hmm. In fact, that was our whole live, if I'm not mistaken.
I don't remember.
But CBG oil, cannabigerol oil, which I spelled out, but it's CANNABIGEROL, cannabigerol oil. And
sounds like a spelling bee.
It does, doesn't it? And I won. And but cannabigerol oil, or CBG oil, reduces anxiety dramatically. It's like brought a whole curtain down on it.
Yes.
And so because of that, I am now able to continue to detox,
right,
using the heavy metal detox smoothie every day if I want, because it's bringing out this HMDS smoothie is bringing out all of those toxins. And while my brain is changing, the CBG oil is keeping me at a very calm and peaceful point, so that I don't have huge amounts of anxiety that almost made me quit last week at work.
Right.
So that would be tool number 4. Is a very important tool as well. The cannabigerol oil.
It
CBG.
is not approved.
It isn't, but
we're finding ways to keep going on this detox.
We are, because if there's anything Michelle and I are, that's persevering.
Right.
We are going to be successful at what we do. Period.
So we're finding ways that might not be right.
Mm-hmm. And no, he doesn't approve of it, but again, he also says you got to figure this out for yourself.
Yeah.
And you do, but you can figure it out with us, because we can help you through it. I mean, if something's not right for you, we can give you ideas of what might be and how to handle it. Something new, if you're going to do a detox spray, or if you're going to use Montmorillonite clay for detox or something like that, we can help you with that too. But anyway, those are the 4 tools. I'll recap them real quick. Number 1 tool for detox: slow down. The number two tool for detox is you can change the amounts in a recipe, because that will slow your detox down too. Mm-hmm. Number 3, cut out all the highly detoxing foods, because that will slow you down as well. And then you can manage how you detox.
To that, I want to add, you can add things that will slow the detox, like avocado.
Good point. Potatoes. Cooked veggies.
Because anytime the liver has to start processing fat, it stops detoxing.
Mm-hmm.
So
now, if you're eating veggies without fat, it's still going to slow it down.
Not like it would with fat, though.
True, but veggies still slow it down some. I mean, he does say that potatoes slow it down.
Potatoes.
Unless he meant potatoes in oil. I don't know if he did or not.
I don't know.
Okay. But anyway, that was number 3. Cut out the highly detoxing foods, or add foods that will slow your detox down. That's an important point.
Yes.
And number 4, CBG oil, cannabigerol oil, because this will help you maintain calm and present mind while you detox, which you need, because emotions are going to come up that you didn't know were there.
Dude.
One of our clients recently, something really serious came up for her that hadn't happened back in her past and over the past few nights. And so she is getting through it, but she wanted us to talk about the tools how to handle emotional issues, and we're going to talk about that next. But we wanted to talk about the tools for detox, because if you can slow that down, it will make the emotional issues easier to handle.
Slow down. Too.
Exactly. All right. Tools for relationships. Tool number 1. Now, you've heard us talk about most of these tools. In fact, you've heard us talk about all of these tools, but I'm going to recap them and I'll explain the importance. Forgiveness is tool number 1. And you know what? A lot of times there is this view of forgiveness that comes from a very high and mighty place that says, well, I'm going to forgive such and such because they did this to me. Okay, that is important. But you know what forgiveness really is? It's releasing you from the pain of that situation.
Right.
That's what forgiveness is for. And so, number one person you forgive is you. Because emotions are going to come up as you're healing your liver, or if you're healing your autism, they're going to come up and you won't know why.
Can I just say that what medical medium says about the liver is it takes in emotions that were too much for you to handle on your own, and it buries them. So when you start detoxing the liver, those come back out. So those would have been pretty traumatic experiences. Mm-hmm. So you're going to feel it again. Mm-hmm. So that's what he's talking about here.
Right. And yeah, that's a good backstory there, because your liver represses them for you. It holds them. It becomes a jail cell. It becomes a reservoir. I think that's it becomes a swamp.
Well, that's true.
Of emotions, because it's collected all the ones that you couldn't handle, and it's keeping you as the least toxic you can be.
Right.
By taking in those emotions. And if somebody is on here listening to us now and says, well, I don't think that's true, that's total BS that your body holds emotions. Okay, next time you get in a confrontation with somebody, with a loved one or a friend of yours, stop and think, how tense are you in your shoulders and in your arms? And are you doing this with your fists, right? With your hands? Because that's all tension and you're holding it. Now, then think, how many times has that actually happened to you throughout your life where you've held tension in because of a confrontation and you've just kept it in there and not realizing that you needed to let it go? Yeah, it's happened a lot more times than you think. So you do hold emotion in your body. You just do. Okay. She added a fourth tool. But the number one tool is forgiveness. Because, and however you have to do that, we have a forgiveness prayer that Michelle tends to use. I have a visualization that I use, and it's great. You can, one of our favorite authors in the past was Louise Hay. So if any of you have ever read her book, You Can Heal Your Life, she had a visualization that she used where the thing that she needed to be forgiven for, she would take and put in a stream of water and let that water wash away the resentment. Now, that was her visualization. I have a different one that's a lot more elaborate than that. But I eventually wind up putting it in a stream and letting it float off out of my consciousness, because that's the whole point. You are trying to release yourself from the pain that you either caused yourself or someone else caused you. And so forgiveness is all about letting go of that continuing pain. So if you need to do a prayer for it, if you need to do a visualization for it, do it. Because I'll say forgiveness is a very big detoxifying method for your emotions. It really is. Because I've had things come up I didn't know even existed, and they piss me off. And I'm like, I don't know where this came from, and I never could figure out where it came from. But forgiving myself for it, let it go, and I didn't have to care where it came from.
Right.
So forgiveness, number one tool. Number two tool, I'll just kind of make this the general. Energy medicine.
Yeah, we've done a live on this.
We have EFT. Now, what I mean by energy medicine is things that move the energy around in your body. Because emotion is energy. What I mean by that is it's energy that you exchange between someone else and you, or between your outside self and your inner self. And so you can traumatize yourself. Ask me, I know. Yeah. You can traumatize yourself. You can. And you can be traumatized by other people. You can be traumatized by situations that you have no control over. But those all affect you energetically. And I'm not talking about necessarily in some woo-woo way. If you hold tension in your body, you're holding energy in your body. You just are. What I talked about tension a minute ago, that's just energy you're holding in your body in a negative way. So, energy medicine. Energy medicine helps you move that out, not around, out, right? Here's a couple examples. EFT, or tapping, some people call it, the emotional freedom technique. We learned about it from a guy named Gary Craig, who had a website about it. And that's how we learned it. She learned it for herself, and then she taught me. And I learned this when I was still autistic, long before I knew I was autistic. So, and it worked even for me then. And it works wonderfully now. But tapping is another term for EFT. For any of you, not like Nick Ortner. If you've ever heard of Nick Ortner, he's an author at Hay House. He wrote a book called Tapping, or about tapping, EFT. Other forms of energy medicine.
Bruce Lipton has a link to many forms of, and we've posted that before.
But if you can't find it here on Heal Your Autism, go to Bruce Lipton's site. Just look up Bruce Lipton. His website will come up, and under resources it says, and you can click on that page. And man, I've never seen a list of energy medicine resources like he's got. So he's got them all.
And then you can do Eden Energy Medicine, which is
Barbara Eden, not Barbara Eden. Jeannie will come to your house and wrinkle her nose and blink your problems away. No, Donna Eden. Sorry, Donna Eden. I guess she came up with this. A friend of ours is a practitioner of
Eden
Energy
you can find
medicine.
practitioners in most places.
And even here in Oklahoma City, our friend Roxy, she is a practitioner of Eden Energy Medicine. So if you guys are here in Oklahoma City and you want help with the Eden Energy Medicine, we can hook you up with her. But Eden Energy Medicine is another form. Acupuncture, acupressure, those are energy medicines as well. So those are another thing to try.
You just have to decide what you feel good about.
What feels good to you about it. Exactly. The number 3 tool, which we talked about in the first set of tools for detox, CBG oil. I really won't talk about that again, except to say CBG oil. It's awesome, because it really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
It's also helped us understand ourselves better.
Mm-hmm.
And
it lets you know what's real and what's not real.
Yeah, exactly.
What your brain is just firing because your neural network is messed up, and what is really in your heart.
Yes.
You can really see that difference.
Yes, and that is hugely important, because when you're doing detox, there's all kinds of chaos coming out.
It is. Oh, man.
All kinds of emotions coming out, all kinds of thoughts coming up, and most of them aren't even yours.
Yes.
So with the CBG oil, that brings a curtain down on your brain overworking. And then you can stop and see, oh, none of that's me. Or very little of that's me.
Or this is me and I can take care of this.
Exactly. So CBG oil is the 3rd tool in tools for relationships. Now, number 4, there's a guy named David Hawkins, and he's an author, but he wrote some books called Letting Go, Power.
Death and Recovery, was that one of them?
That might have been. And then there was one called Power versus Force. I think that was the same guy.
Something.
Yeah, and
we're horrible.
It's all right, and because we can find him if you want to know. But David Hawkins wrote a book about letting go.
Yep.
That's actually what it's called, and he finds for himself that that's the biggest tool to handle anything in life. When feelings come up, hold a particular feeling, sit with that feeling for a while, until it dissolves back to where it came from, because it does every time. And
now some feelings might be too much.
Some feelings might be too much.
So maybe tap while you feel through.
You can tap on your collarbones for that. And is that what you were going to say?
Mm-hmm. Just tapping. You can just tap while you're feeling it.
Yeah, because if for those of you who know EFT, if you tap on all the points while you're feeling the feeling through, it will move out. Yep. and that will fix it. I should say it will allow it to
helps
to
it move through.
It moves through you.
But also feeling it through.
Feeling it through. What she means by that is what David Hawkins means.
Right.
Just feel it until it goes away. And most feelings can be that way. Some
Most
won't.
feelings, but some of them won't be.
Right. And so now, if you want to know how this deals with relationships, let me tie this in real quick. A lot of times, during any kind of healing, relationships between you and friends and loved ones are going to change. They're just going to. Because we found with the medical medium diet, her brain started getting much better. And see, I had just come out of autism. So we started this medical medium diet last year in January 2018. So as her brain has gotten better, she's seen more in me. As my brain's gotten better, I've seen more in her. Well, I tended to take that personally, and at times she did too. And so we would have to sit and talk about it. Talking is another great way.
Yes.
However,
but talking from a space of no blame, you have to find that space in your body where you can observe rather than be there.
yes, now observe. That means being able to watch what you're saying and watch and hear what another person's saying without getting involved with it.
Without judging.
Right. And because that's important. Don't judge it, just observe it. And by observing it, you can go, is this really me, or is this just how they're feeling? Because once you know whether it's something that you really need to take care of for you, then you'll know to employ these other tools: forgiveness, energy medicine, feeling it through. But if you find that it isn't actually applicable to you, it's just how someone else is feeling, you can sit there and observe what they're saying and help them feel it through without having to do anything. You can just listen and be there. That's it. Because relationships are going to change. God knows ours has. This is not the same relationship we started out with 5.5 years ago.
No.
At all.
Mm.
Because I was incredibly dependent on her for most of my existence. I had to have her figure out what was going on at work for me. I had to have her figure out why people were picking at me, if that's actually what they were doing or not. I had to have her interpret things that people told me because I didn't understand them. And she had to help me with so many numerous different things throughout life. Because as an autistic person, I was not functional enough to do that. But as I came out of the autism, she had to change how she interacted with me because I was changing how I interacted with her.
And that was adjustment.
That was adjustment because she has gotten to the point to where, well, it's just change. But it used to be a big deal for her. I got to change again. Well, I was changing.
Well,
again.
I didn't feel good.
No, you didn't. So between feeling bad and having to change, that was a lot of work. You know?
Yeah.
And then with the medical medium diet, more changes come. But we're feeling better. Better than we ever had.
So it's easier.
Exactly. And I can tell you I feel better now than I ever did at 20.
Yes, definitely.
Mm-hmm. And even in the early 90s, I was visiting my parents in December with a girlfriend of mine from Georgia. And I remember during that Christmas visit how bad I felt physically. One of the few times I remember how bad I felt. And I was doubled over in pain with gut pain. And I was 22 or 23 at that point. Yeah. But now I don't have any troubles like that. The autism is gone. With the CBG oil, the obsessive compulsive personality disorder and all the anxiety that went with it is gone because it's not me. Right. It's just a brain that hasn't healed yet. So when it does, that'll be gone.
Yeah.
Do you think I'm going to be happy about that? Hell yeah. Because it has been horrible living with that much anxiety because she has to live with it too. So relationships are going to change, but these last 4 tools, and I'll recap them: forgiveness, mainly for yourself, EFT, tapping, other forms of energy medicine like Eden energy medicine, like acupuncture, acupressure, that type of stuff. All of those things are going to be important, and they're great tools. Number 3, again, CBG oil, because it's going to help you see yourself possibly for the first time. And it's going to help you weed out what things you actually need to work on
You
versus
said
weed out. I did say weed. What is this, high school? And help you weed out, help you hash out. See, you can do that too. And
Ooh, hash browns.
yeah, we'll have hash browns later.
So
But,
the cat is back.
What's the cat doing? What are you doing, man? He's back there smoking a cigar. Anyway, but CBG oil will really help you decide what you need to work on for you and what really isn't important for you. The 4th one, feeling things through. As a feeling comes up, sit with it. And after a few seconds, a minute or so, it'll dissolve back where it came from. Now, so again, some feelings are too strong for that to happen. So just tap on the crown of your head, right here between your eyes, above your eyebrows, on the sides of your eyes, under your eyes, under your nose, on your chin, under your collarbones right here, under your nipples.
I skipped that one.
Did you? Okay. And
I
then under
always
your
have,
arms.
but I do monkey,
Right. But she does the funky chicken. And
which is
so,
actually the spleen meridian.
it is in eating energy medicine. So do all of those, and and be the observer as much as you can be. Step back from what you're saying and what your partner is saying in that relationship, and just observe what's going on, and don't judge it. If you can do that.
That takes practice.
It does take, that definitely takes practice.
Lots.
It does. And so with those 5 things, you can navigate the changes in your relationships. You can. And we've done it, and I was autistic. I didn't even know what a relationship was. So now I do know what a relationship is, and I love them. So, and there's all different kinds, just so you know. There isn't just one kind of relationship out there for any of you folks who might be on the spectrum listening. There are many different kinds of relationships, and people are, and NTs are all as incredibly different as any autistic person.
Isn't
I
that
guarantee
cool?
it. I guarantee it.
That's cool.
That is cool. So we're going to end this today.
Okay.
But those are those tools, and I can actually post them up if you want.
Yeah, write them down.
I'll write them down.
Make your fancy list.
I'll do that.
Okay, guys.
We'll see you next week. Thanks for watching.
Bye.